Okay, so in the last video, we recapped the first few classes. Um, in this video, we're going to fast forward to the classes about what grounds what, the most recent classes. So remember we talked about flat views versus ordered views, and there's a basic idea with discussions of what grounds what that Schaffer offers, which is this. Any attempt to defend a particular flat view will presuppose an ordered view. Why is that? Well, here you have Schaffer, and he says, how can you prefer a theory on which only particles exist to a theory on which both particles and trees exist, unless you think particles ground trees? So any attempt to defend a flat view will end up presupposing an ordered view, so we must accept an ordered view. What is an ordered view? Well, it has these kind of hierarchical tree structures where you have some fundamentals and then things created by those fundamentals. When I say created, I don't mean causally created, I mean grounded in, built out of. Given an ordered view, a central task of metaphysics is deciding what grounds what. What is built out of what? Are cars built out of atoms? Are cars built out of minds? And so on and so forth. More broadly, a great deal of philosophical theorizing aims to identify what grounds what. Now here's a problem. How can we determine what grounds what? What's the epistemology for grounding? We know experience can't tell us what grounds what. Why do we know that? Well, we already talked about this. How will the world look if the Lego man is built out of the Lego bricks, is nothing but the Lego bricks, is made of the Lego bricks, is composed of the Lego bricks, versus how will the world look if the Lego man is not built out of the Lego bricks, but merely caused by them? So the Lego man on one view is built out of or grounded in the Lego bricks, and on the other view, the Lego man is not built out of or grounded in the Lego bricks, but rather is caused by the Lego bricks, or is for some other reason coincident with the Lego bricks. It stands in the same relation that you might think Lumpy stands to Noam Chomsky. That is, they are coincident objects. So the claim that Lego man might be caused by the Lego bricks might seem ridiculous, but there are reasons why many philosophers think that there are coincident objects. We talked about those with the Noam Chomsky case. Okay, so the claim that so how do we know what grounds what a priori? Since experience can't tell us what grounds what, how can we know it a priori? Well, here's a Phrygian answer. For any expression E, understanding E requires knowing E's sense. Knowing E's sense requires knowing a description that fixes the reference of E, that determines what E refers to. So we have our two folk here, and one says, is this a tiger? And the other one says, yes, it is. And the first says, okay, how about this? And the other one says, no, it isn't. And then the one says, how did you do that? How did you say easily and readily and quickly one is a tiger and the other isn't? And the person answers, because I understand the word tiger perfectly well, or I have a perfectly coherent concept of tiger, or something like that. And blue says, so what? And white over here says, well, part of what tiger means is large, solitary, carnivorous cat with black stripes. That's the sense of tiger. And blue says, so. And white responds, so the description, large, carnivorous, striped animal, and so on, fixes the reference of tiger. It's the sense of tiger. So whatever you show to me, I just need to see if it satisfies that description. If it does satisfy that description, then it's a tiger. This thing satisfies it, so it's a tiger. If it doesn't, then it's not. This thing doesn't, then it's not. So, continues White here, my knowing the meaning of the word tiger is enough for me to determine of any given thing whether it's a tiger. Put another way, it's analytic that tigers are large, black, carnivorous cats with black stripes. And I can just determine whether any given thing is a tiger by seeing whether that description holds of it. Okay, so here's a lesson. Given a complete description of any scenario, such that the description never uses the word tiger or some other expression you're interested in, some non-basic bit of vocabulary, something that's not in the protocol language in Carnap's terms, one who understands that expression, like tiger, can use knowledge of relevant analyticities to apply that expression, to figure out what are the tigers and what aren't, to identify all and only the entities to which that expression, say tiger, refers in that scenario. Put another way, one who understands that expression can infer the referent of the extension of all the things that the expression refers to from that description, from that basic description given in a fundamental vocabulary, given in the protocol language. Well, if one can do that, then one can identify what grounds what. So one who understands an expression can identify what grounds what by checking the meaning of the expression. Carnap agrees more or less with this picture. Frege agrees more or less with this picture. This picture is inherent to Carnap's verificationism. You can think of verificationist theory of meaning as providing a specific account of the sense of any given description. Frege needn't accept that particular account, but he could. So if you accept Frege's view, then you can accept that you can know what grounds what by thinking about what's analytic and what isn't. So we just connected Frege to Schaffer and Carnap to Schaffer, because Frege and Carnap have this view on which statements between a sort of high-level bit of vocabulary like tiger and some lower-level bit of vocabulary like large, carnivorous, mammal, whatever, ultimately, in the protocol language, any statement like that is analytic, and anybody who knows that kind of analyticity can identify what grounds what. You can say in any world what any given, the referent of any given term is. So you can say in any given world what the sort of object referred to is built out of. Okay, so and there's more to be said about this, and we'll talk more about it in class, but that's the rough recap. By contrast, Quine rejects this picture. He rejects the analytic-synthetic distinction, which means he rejects the verificationist theory of meaning, and more broadly, he rejects Frege's view that sense fixes reference and that any competent user of an expression can identify its sense. So he rejects the epistemological basis for identifying what grounds what for this kind of reductionism. Okay, and that's a way to think about the connection between the various authors that we've looked at so far this semester. We'll stop there.